I mean, there was one time, I think I did six hikes in one day
Um,
because I started at like 3 a.m. and it was like a longer hike. And so I was able to get some sun and then I like would run back. I mean, I was literally running because I needed to like get all this stuff done.
Welcome. This is Lauren Stites, and you are listening to Her Side of the Trail. This episode, I'm speaking with Sarah Lamagna. Sarah talks about the hiking guides that she has written, 2 that are already published, New England Hikes with Kids and New England Swimming Holes, and also a 3rd one on the way, which features haunted hikes in New England. So let's get into it. Hello, Sarah. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited to talk to you about hiking and about the books that you've written about hiking and all the other fun outdoor adventures that you go on and experience.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm also excited to talk about this. So thank you.
To let our listeners know, where are you located? Where is your home base?
My home base is in basically along the seacoast of New Hampshire. We've been here for about 5 years now.
Beautiful. What a beautiful area. I haven't been up to New Hampshire, but I've done Mass, and I know the seacoast of Mass, and I'm assuming it's very rocky up there.
Yeah, it's not quite as like craggy as Maine coast is, and there's only I think 11 miles
I was
technically
going
of
to say, yeah, New Hampshire
coastline.
doesn't have that much, does it?
Yeah, it really is not that much, but yeah, it's a very nice area.
And so, of course, we're here to talk about hiking. Did you grow up in New England and do a lot of hiking up there?
Yeah. So I grew up in southeastern Connecticut, basically Rhode Island. I like to say I grew up basically in Rhode Island. We're
I
not the
can
New York
picture it.
side.
Yeah.
Not the New York side, Rhode Island side. And yeah, I grew up hiking thanks to my mother, who was a huge hiker. She brought me on all of my firsts, like first backpacking, first camping, first big mountain, which for New England, at least for Connecticut, was Bear Mountain, which is like a rinky-dinky hill compared to, say, the Colorado Rockies or something. She even had like a little hiking group that she started. She was a social worker, and she used the outdoors to just help heal people.
It's an amazing place for that. Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of grew up hiking. And then my dad was a hunter and a fisherman and got me out doing whatever he was doing. I was kind of, even though I have a brother, I was sort of the son that my parents didn't have because I was the super outdoorsy one. I was the one that wanted to go do all those things. So
I had a similar upbringing where my mom also was like, responsible for dragging me out on hikes, doing our
yeah.
backpacking trip, camping, all of that. Like my dad very willingly went along, but my mom was the driving force behind it all. It's a great childhood though. Good memories.
Very
now I'm
good
doing
memories.
it to my children, and I assume you're doing that to yours as well, right?
I definitely am, although he's tending to talk back quite a bit now compared to what he was when he was, 2 or 3.
When
It's
he
like,
had no choice and no words.
Now he has opinions and questions.
Oh, it's always fun. It's fun. So now, did growing up, spending a lot of time outside, is that what influenced? I know you studied ecology and you worked in ecology for a while, correct?
Yeah, I did. So the big reason I got into it was basically my mom and being outdoors all the time. I thought I could save the environment, but realizing now, quite naive of me when I was 12 years old. But I originally wanted to be a park ranger because, my mom had brought me to all these state parks and national parks and, all these places. I'm like, I want to do this someday. And then realized as I got a little bit older that you actually had to deal more with people than like resources.
Yeah, who wants that?
I didn't feel like doing that. I was like, I don't want to talk to people.
It's a reason we like being outside, away from people.
Exactly. So I ended up getting a degree from a tiny little state school in upstate New York in forestry. And then from there, I went and got a master's in soil science. And really enjoy my dirt. And then, I worked in the field for quite a while. I ended up as sort of we call them technicians. So it's just people who go out and collect data throughout the summer usually, which then led to another job and then another job. And eventually I worked for the Bureau of Land Management out in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
And then, so I was an ecologist for about 12 years.
Okay.
And then had a kid. And decided I didn't want to do this job anymore. Working for the federal government is hard. In the beginning, I thought I was like fighting the good fight from within, and then quickly realized that's just not how it worked. It was just so bureaucratic and so many loopholes that you had to get through. And yeah, it was really hard.
I can understand stepping back from that then. Definitely.
I was really lucky, and I have a husband, a partner who is able to have health insurance and a steady paycheck. And I was like, I'm gonna like hang out with my kid for a little while.
That's awesome. But that
Yeah,
gave you an opportunity. This is a good segue. It gave you an
yeah,
opportunity to write hiking guides, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
you have two that are published right now and you're working on a third. Can you describe the two that are available right now at least? Give a little
yeah.
details on those?
Yeah, so my first book, so all of the books are through Falcon Guides, which anybody who's gone into Barnes and Noble or some bookstore, it's always those black and yellow books that are,
Recognizable. Yes.
yeah, they're always like in the local interest or travel section. So my first book was Hiking with Kids, New England. And it's all, what I like to say is that, yes, it is a hiking guide for people to do with their kids. I also say that it's good for anyone who might be slow on the
Yeah.
trail,
Or they're like new to hiking and they don't want to
new to
overwhelm
hiking.
themselves right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or people who maybe get a little distracted easily, or people who need like something fun at the end. Like we always talk about, well, it's not about like the view at the top, and when you hike with kids, it's kind of about the view at the end, which is
You
terrible,
need to
but
entice them, like, but we
you
gotta just
do.
finish this so you can see this, you know?
Exactly, exactly. So there's 50 hikes in that book, all family friendly, depending on there are a couple of hikes in there that are more difficult, because I also realized I got really tired of seeing these hiking with kids books that were like under 3 miles and very minimal elevation gain, and I'm like, kids can do hard things.
Kids can handle it. It took me a
Yeah,
while to learn that with my kids, like, wait a minute,
yeah,
no, they can hack this. They're better at it than
right.
I am half the time.
Right. Exactly. So for me, I was like, obviously I'll do some like really like nice, easier hikes. But I put some harder ones in there because at the time my kid was 5 and he was killing it on the trails. So,
Yeah, they're more capable
um,
than you realize.
exactly. Like we need to give them a bit more credit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's this book.
Love it. Love it.
It's
Hiking with kids.
Yep. And then the second book, after I did this first book, my publisher came to me and said, "Hey, you think you would like to write a book about swimming in the backcountry?" And I was like, say less. Yes, of course I will.
Yes, it's a favorite pastime, sure.
Well, it really is. So I have what's called thalassophobia, thalassophobia, something like that.
Okay.
Where it's basically a fear of deep, dark water.
Oh, I think maybe I
So
have that too.
yeah, so like I've never been a fan, even though I grew up on the coast and I grew up in New England, I'm not a fan of the ocean. I don't like any sort of body of water where I can't see the bottom.
Okay. I don't
So
blame you
like
for
if you
that.
bring me to Hawaii and I will happily swim in that ocean, no problem.
That clear water, I can see the
Clear
sand at the
water,
bottom.
totally fine. In New England, many, many like streams, rivers, creeks, all that sort of stuff in the backcountry, because we have so much granite and limestone. It's sort of like this natural filter to water in general. And so it actually makes very clear water. And I am one of those crazy people who loves cold water, like really cold water. And so I really enjoy backcountry swimming, especially like a lot of the swimming holes in this book. This all came from me literally going on a hike, stumbling across a river or something that I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice. And I would mark it on my little app on my phone. And then so when my publisher asked me if I wanted to do the swimming holes book, I was like, yeah, this is like right up my alley.
So obviously you already been hiking all these like with your son, or you've been doing it by yourself to the swimming holes.
Yeah.
About how long did it take you to research each book, or did you already kind of have a log of hikes that you knew you could include?
It's a little bit of both. So the biggest problem was that I didn't have good photos.
Okay.
So
So you kind of had to go back. Yeah.
even if I had done the hike already, I needed to go back and take photos because uh, most photos in the Falcon guides, at least the ones that I've written, they're mostly horizontal, and most millennials, us
We're taking
millennials
vertical
know
photos. Yeah.
we take vertical photos. And so like some of them, I think maybe there were 2 to 3 hikes in both books where I didn't have to go back because I was able to crop the photo a certain way. But it probably took me, I'd say it's usually 2 summers for
Oh.
me to do this. Sometimes I have to cram it all in one, just the way that traditional publishing works. I did everything. So I went and I did the hikes, the entire hike. I took all of the photos. I made sure I had a GPX track on my phone so that I
Mhm.
can make a map when I got home.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so there was like a lot that goes into this. And then like I take notes as I go on the hike of like what plants and animals I might see,
Like features
little
along the way, like, oh, look out for
features.
this. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Especially the hiking with kids book. I did a lot of like, hey, you can stop here. There's some really cool boulders that kids can climb on because climbing boulders is fun.
Who doesn't love
Um,
climbing boulders?
yeah,
I still like
exactly.
climbing boulders.
So it's just like a lot. Like my notes app on my phone was insane because it was just like this trail, and then these are all the things that you can find on that trail.
I can only
Uh,
imagine. Yeah.
yeah. So it's actually every time I tell somebody that I actually hiked all of the hikes, they were like, "No, you didn't. You didn't do that." I'm like, "No, I did. I really did."
You're like,
And
I
my
have the proof
kid,
on my phone right here.
yeah. And my kid for the hiking with kids book, he probably did about 35 of the
Oh,
50
wow.
hikes. Um, so yeah, like it was tried and true because I wanted to make sure that it was actually a good hike to do with kids. And same thing with the swimming holes. I went out. I maybe didn't swim in every single swimming hole, but I went there to actually make sure there was a swimming hole.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It was still
'cause
there.
yeah,
It didn't dry up.
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so ahead of time, like, so usually with these particular books, the publisher likes nice leaves and sunny days and those sorts of things in the photos. So, cause I love to hike in the winter.
Yes, me too.
But those photos aren't great.
And who's
So
going to swimming holes in the winter? Let's be
I know. I mean,
honest.
typically swimming holes, but even like the hiking with kids, I was like, my publisher's like, don't give us snow. If we see snow, no. And I was like, okay, I get it, because the majority of people,
Are not hiking
especially
in
hiking with
winter.
kids, they're
Yeah.
not hiking in the winter, which I totally get. You know, it's sort of like this truncated
Yeah, you have a short
timeline
timeline, yeah.
to make sure I hit all of these things. So there were a couple of times I told my husband, I was like, I got to go to Vermont for 8 days so that I can do all of these hikes.
Check
He's
all
like,
these off my
okay.
list here.
Yep. Yep. I mean, there was one time I think I did six hikes in one day
Oh my
because
goodness.
I started at like 3 a.m. and it was like a longer hike. And so I was able to get some sun, and then I like would run back. I mean, I was literally running because I needed to like get all this stuff done.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
People
yeah,
just
it's a
buy
lot.
her book just because of the amount of effort that she put into it, please. If people only knew. If people only knew.
Uh-huh.
So I have a
Uh-huh.
new appreciation for hiking guides now, 100%.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's like even just the like the trail beta in the front of each of the trails
Yeah.
all has like, you know, who's the land management person, like, or entity, what's their phone number, what's their address, like, are dogs allowed, are there hazards, like all these things that I'm just like, you just don't think about, and you're like,
No.
oh, I gotta write this all, and you have to make sure it's correct.
Yeah, it's all accurate.
So
Yeah.
yeah, because then once it's in print, it's in print.
Yeah. It's
So,
there. Right. So your third book now you're currently working on.
yeah.
And can you tell us about this one? Because this one sounds really fun for me. Actually, I'm excited about it.
I'm stoked about this book. So this was the first book that I actually pitched to my publisher and said, "Hi, I'm one of those like witchy girls, you know, that love ghosts and those sorts of things. So, can I do a haunted hikes book?" And my publisher, they always have to bring things to the board or whatever. It's,
Yeah, they got to get all the
I don't know.
approval.
They're like approval people.
The chain of command.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think I would have been able to do this book if I hadn't done the other two to like prove that I am actually a mediocre writer that can like actually hand things in. And so he came back, he said, "Yep, it's approved." So I was able to, I had already done a whole bunch of hikes for this because I truly am very much in tune with
like that
all
paranormal,
of the,
supernatural, all of it. Yeah.
Give me all of it.
Are you doing all the ghost tours at like Gettysburg and everything? Yeah.
Yep. Gettysburg.
Yep.
I remember when I was a kid, we took a trip to Washington, D.C., and I made my mother go to every single place that I could find that was supposedly haunted.
I love that.
When I went to school in Syracuse, up in Syracuse, there's a very famous theater that's known to be haunted, and I'd go see every and any concert there possible just for the
just
chance
in case.
that
maybe a cold breeze will come by my neck. You never know.
Exactly. So yeah, and I also know like New England is just full of history and eerie things happen. Yes. And I'm here for it. And so yeah, I already knew of a couple. There was one in particular hike that really I wanted to write this book because of it. Because I had such a weird experience. So,
okay. Can you share a little details about that one?
Sure.
Give a little taste. A little tease.
Yeah, I'm happy to give a little taste. So the one that I went on particularly that really made me want to do this idea is to Ripley Falls, which is in New Hampshire, in the White Mountains. I hadn't known anything about this trail, just that it was a really nice waterfall at the end, and it was a easy-ish hike for my kid to go on. A bit of elevation gain, but nothing that he couldn't do. And so we went one day. I just needed to like get out of the house. It was during a school break. I needed my kid to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I needed me to get out of the house.
I feel that.
Yeah. It was pouring rain when we got there. And so, which I don't really care. I'm not a fair weather hiker, but
waterfall would be better then.
Exactly. But my kid is just like, "Why are we here? Like, what are we doing at the trailhead?" I'm like, "Listen, nature is happiness, okay? So we're going to do
Be
this.
happy.
Be happy now." And so we went for this hike. It was really nice. We kind of went later in the day just because we live about 2 hours from the White Mountains. So I knew it was just going to take a little while for him to get out of the house and like get packed up. And I mean, anybody who has kids and needs to go anywhere,
yes,
you know that it's just add an hour.
I was gonna say, like, it's gonna take twice as long as you think it'll take to get out of the house.
Exactly. So so we don't get there till like basically like 4-ish, like not like way later. And we had stopped in North Conway to have some lunch and kind of relax. We're on the hike. We make it to the falls, no problem. We saw like a couple of other people on the trail going back because most people hike in the morning. But it was also during the week, so it wasn't like crazy crowded or anything like it usually is in the White Mountains, especially when there's like summer or a holiday or the weekends, whatever. So we kind of hang out at the waterfalls for just a little bit. And then we turn around to go back. And my kid is like, he's kind of like a dog where he'll like run ahead.
My
and
son's
I always
like that
tell
too.
him like, you got to make sure you can see me.
Yeah.
So like always turn around and make sure you can see me. So he would do that. I mean, that's how he gets his energy out. And I'm going to let him do it. I think it's a great thing for kids to do.
Definitely.
So, yeah. So, at one point he was pretty far ahead of me, but I could see him. He has a yellow jacket on because it's literally how I keep track.
That way you can find him anywhere in the woods.
Yep. Yep. Doesn't matter if it's hunting season or not. That kid is wearing bright colors so I can see him. And at that point, the rain had stopped. Everything was kind of quiet. But everything felt off to me. And, I mean, obviously I wrote this, I'm writing this book. So like, I believe in ghosts. I believe in the paranormal. I
Mm-hmm.
believe in like vibes in
Mm-hmm.
the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of took note of it. I was like, huh, kind of feels weird right now. Um, and so my kid's still pretty far ahead. But all of a sudden I hear some kids laughing. And I was like,
Nothing's creepier than kids
huh,
laughing
what's
when there's no kids nearby.
exact? And it was like a happy laugh. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like an evil
Yeah.
cackling or anything. Um, and at first I thought, well, maybe it's just like the wind or like I'm like trying to, my scientist
Justify it.
brain,
Yeah.
yeah, is like, well, it's just the wind or it's like the rain coming down. Like, I don't know, like the rain dripping from the leaves. I don't know. So my kid, he's coming back and I'm like, hey, did you hear anything? And he's like, no. Like, what are you talking about? And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to like brush this off. Meanwhile, we still don't see anybody on the trail as we make our way back. And I get a feeling again where things, not that I feel like I'm being watched, but like just something is off
Like
on the
there's like
trail.
a like presence, like someone's like
Yeah,
near.
they're like, yes, it's really hard to describe, but there was just this vibe where like everything just seemed still. So like
Gotcha.
I didn't hear any birds chirping and there was like no wind, there was no crunching of leaves or anything. Like it just was
That's weird.
very
Yeah.
eerily quiet. Um, and then I heard it again. Then I heard the kids' laughter yet again. So I'm kind of freaking out at this point. And so it's pretty foggy. It's getting close to sunset. Um, and so I start picking up the pace a little bit. My kid's already in front of me, so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like keep on kind of trucking down. I catch up to my kid, and I basically make a game of, hey, let's race to the trailhead so that we can get out of whatever is happening on this trail. So then I get home after like we make it back to the trailhead and everything's fine. He's like totally oblivious, does not like he's
He's
fine.
not freaked out. He's fine.
No, no. He's fallen asleep in the car on the way home, everything. Like it's totally fine. Where I'm like replaying in my head of like what just happened on this trail. So I get home and of course, again, me being the scientist that I am, I research everything. So this trail in particular had never really been documented as haunted, but people in New Hampshire and definitely in northern New Hampshire know of the Wiley family. So there's a family that used to live up there, and it was a husband and wife and two kids, three kids. Now I can't remember, but read my book and you'll find out. Um, but they lived in this area up in the White Mountains. There's even a house called the Wiley House that is now like an ice cream shop and like a general store and also like a little museum. And it's just up the road from Ripley Falls. And I learned that family was killed in a landslide, and the two kids' bodies were never found. So yeah, yeah,
Chills. I just got chills. Oh my gosh.
chill. So of course I'm just like deep diving into this whole story, and then I start seeing all of these other places where there's just documented things that have happened throughout history. And I ended up going on to like the 4,000 footer Facebook page, the like and pretty much every hiking page you can think of on Facebook, like hiking group. I went on there and said, hey, I'm going to be writing this book. Does anyone have any stories? And sure enough, there are a lot of stories from people. And so I haven't seen a book like this, at least for New England, where it's like firsthand accounts of people like talking about how they've experienced something weird on the trail. So yeah, so there's a little bit less hikes in this hiking book because there's a whole storytelling side to it. So it's not just the hike and say my experience on the hike. It's, hey, here's
Here's
all
what
the
happened.
exactly, and then here's the history of it and why it's supposedly haunted. And then if there happens to be someone who had a story about it, I'll put that in that section too.
That sounds
So this
so
was a
fun.
lot of fun to write. It was very like creatively, it was very fun to write. So yeah, I can't wait for this one to come out. So it'll come out next May.
Next
So
May 2026. I can't wait. I'm going to pick that up.
yeah.
That sounds
Oh
fun.
yeah. Please do.
That sounds great. That sounds great. All right. I don't want to keep you for too long because I know you are busy writing this book. But I do want to touch a little bit also when I was looking you up and learning more about you. I
Yeah.
learned also that you're involved in a group Trailblaze Her. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And will you share a little bit about that too? Because I think it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's me and my friend Heather, who were both freelance journalists. And we had decided we needed to kind of diversify our portfolio a little,
I
where
feel like
we
that's
weren't
what
just
we all
writing.
do nowadays. Isn't that like the
Yeah,
millennial way?
yes, and it's just like the way, like the state of media, and at least for me, travel journalism has been pretty rocky at I'd say in the past like year or two, where it's just we're not getting the stories that we usually get, and so basically so that I could keep my job, we were like, let's look into YouTube. And so we came up with this idea called Trailblazer. And it's basically a YouTube channel that's by women for women in the outdoors. So it's still kind of like a little fledgling of a YouTube
But I
channel.
think what you have on there already is so informative.
Yeah, so it's like little things that you wouldn't think of for like women in particular. Sure, there's also like hacks that anybody can think of, but like we just put out one for backpacking hacks,
Yeah.
and it's like things that you can do with your tampon, that your used tampon, where it's like, I learned when I was going hiking with my mom that like you take basically put it in like a baggie, but then you put it through, like you put it in aluminum foil to like trap it all in there. But like who wants to carry all that stuff? And
No.
like it was terrible. But like one of the backpacking hacks that Heather is sort of the face of Trailblazer, she's like, just use an old backpacking meal. So like those dried,
Oh
the
yeah.
dried backpacking meals, your first night, eat your backpacking meal and then save that and just put your tampon in there at the end.
Yeah.
Like it's
But
pretty
and that's
simple.
like things like that's not like information you can just Google. I mean, I guess you
No,
could Google it, but like really
you
who's talking
could.
about that?
Yeah.
And I think it's great that you guys are talking about that because,
Yeah.
we're 50% of the population and we all get our
Yeah.
periods.
Yeah.
Well, most of
Exactly.
us
And
do.
like
So.
we talk about like the Kula cloth, which is a reusable pea cloth
Mhm.
that people either have never heard of or they've heard everything about it. It's sort of one
Never
or
heard
the
of,
other.
so it's
Yeah, there
informative to
you
me. It's new to me.
go. But and then we talk about Nara apparel, which is the new. They've been around for a little while, but they basically make hiking pants where
Yes.
there's a
So
zipper.
you go to the bathroom more easily.
Uh-huh,
That's
uh-huh.
amazing.
And
Like,
it's awesome. So we try really hard to gear things towards women, and the intent is that at some point, hopefully, we'll get to have more female stories of just people in general to have on the channel.
yeah.
The idea is that hopefully we can like go out for a hike with them and like interview them before and after and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so I'm the producer of this.
I think your
I
videos are great, by the way. They're great.
no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, my friend Heather is just like, you can do this, right? I'm like, sure.
You're
I,
creative. You got it.
yeah, I was like, I can probably figure this out. So, so that's what I've been doing. So they've slowly been getting better, at least I hope. But, yeah, it's been a very interesting avenue creatively because it's different than writing. So it kind of gives me a break.
It's a different
Between all of
outlet.
that.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that, definitely.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. And before I let you go, I've been asking everybody this, what I consider, I think it's a kind of a tough question, but
Okay.
so you're a big hiker, you've done all kinds of hikes. If you could only do one kind of hike though for the rest of your life, would it be a hike to a view or a hike to a waterfall? And since you wrote that swimming hole book, I'm
Oh,
wondering.
100% waterfall.
Okay.
I I honestly kind of couldn't care less about views. I, anyone who's hiked with me, well, one, Lydia, who,
Mhm.
if anybody doesn't know, her handle is My Adventure Gang. She's amazing.
We chatted with her, so hopefully
Oh my
people
gosh,
heard that episode.
she is amazing. I complained the entire way up a mountain. I'm like, my legs hurt. I'm my 7-year-old, basically. This is and like I'm not that person to like motivate you to like, oh, you can do this. I'm like, no, I'm literally dying. Uh so like yeah, the views are really nice, especially when you've put in like so much work to get to the top, but man, there is nothing like getting to a waterfall and swimming at its base that I don't know, just clears my head as a creative person there and as a mom. My head is constantly full of everything. And I also suffer from anxiety, so which I'm pretty sure all millennials do. So
Yeah, I think we're all just diagnosed with that.
we're all just
Yes.
diagnosed. But it's been probably the only time where I've been able to really silence my brain and just be a part of Earth. And as much as I do enjoy hiking and I enjoy being around other people when I hike and, going with friends, going with my kid, swimming in a swimming hole in the backcountry is just a feeling I will never be able to replicate. So
No, it's definitely
yeah,
special. I agree.
yeah,
And they do say too, like with what you were saying about like clearing your mind, like the running water, like the ions and whatnot. You
hmm
feel it. You get
yeah,
close to a waterfall,
yeah,
to that running water. You're like, man, I'm more
yeah,
relaxed out of
yep,
nowhere. Like this is
yep,
amazing. So I
yep,
understand. I totally
yep.
get it. So again, Sarah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
I hope
you.
everyone checks out your books, and I cannot wait for this Haunted Hikes book for next year. So that'll be May 2026. Where can everyone find you, find your books?
Yeah. So my books are available wherever books are sold. If you cannot, the books are not cheap. Both of them are $24.95. So like they're not like a cheaper one. And as much as I would love everybody to buy books and help support, I never expect to be a millionaire with this job. But you can also request the books through your library. I actually still get benefits if a library requests to have the book
That's good to
in.
know. That's good to know.
So
And then
even if it's
everyone
not
can
there,
benefit from the book.
yep, exactly. So even if it's not there, you can ask your librarian to get it. And because the big reason I wrote these books was just to get the information out there. Like I don't like gatekeeping. I don't like any of that. I think everybody deserves to be outside. Um, so yeah, so you can get them wherever you want. And yeah, people can find me. I'm mostly on Instagram because again, I'm a millennial. So I'm on TikTok, but I don't really
What's your
understand it.
Instagram handle?
It's my name. It's literally just my name, Sarah Lamagna.
Gotcha. And
So
then you also have a website.
I do have a website, also sarahlamagna.com.
Well,
Perfect.
thanks again. It's been
Thank
such a pleasure
you.
talking with you. Again, I can't wait for the books to come out. And then maybe next year when the hiking book comes out, you can tell me more stories that'll give me some chills.
Oh, I have there's so many good stories. So many good stories.
Thank you for listening to Her Side of the Trail. There are more hiker stories to hear, so please follow along to hear them as soon as they come out. And if you like this episode, please share it with your friends or on social media. Her Side of the Trail is hosted and produced by me, Lauren Stites. I can't wait to share another hiker story with you next episode.